In this video, we're going to talk about how to stop Derrick Henry. And it doesn't matter if you're playing Madden or in real life. There's 3 ways to stop Derrick Henry. Let's check it out.
You gotta be possessed with the dream.
Stopping Derrick Henry is no easy feat. It was hard enough for us to find clips where he didn't gain positive yards every time he touched the football. However, we found 3 different things that you can do to stop Derrick Henry, whether it be you're playing defense on Madden or you're just watching the game and you're rooting for your team and hoping that they do these 3 things. There is a reason why Derrick Henry was a rushing leader for the 2019 season. On top of his skill, his massive size, and his offensive line, which do a great job in the zone blocking scheme and displacing the defensive linemen and getting back to the linebackers. A combination of all this is what makes Derrick Henry so deadly, and the reason why, if they can keep this core nucleus together for a long time, this Titans run offense is going to be just as efficient and just as prolific as it was in the 2019 season. Now let's get into the first way to stop Derrick Henry, and the first thing is to stay gap disciplined. And the best way to describe this, the defense tries to control the gaps. That's the space in between the offensive linemen. The offense refer to these as holes. So in order to plug up Derrick Henry and make sure he doesn't get a full head of steam while he's running forward, is to make sure that these gaps are filled by defensive players. So for instance, if you're playing Madden or if you're playing any video game, and you like to take your linebacker and like to run him all over the field, there's a good chance that an A gap or a B gap will be wide open. And we'll show you here a live clip of what staying gap discipline means. Now, if you look at this defensive lineman next to the center, he has what we call the A gap. So he's going to be lined up in that gap. And anywhere the ball goes in the Tennessee Titans zone scheme, he's going to have that A gap wherever it moves. The player that's next to the guard on the right side here, he has the B gap. So again, Tennessee Titans like to run a zone scheme where it moves. It's not stationary where it is. The middle linebacker 53 and 59 are going to support the A gap and the B gap depending where the ball goes away. Now here we're going to see the ball go to the right side. The right defensive lineman here actually loses his gap, but he's able to displace the guard and then get back into the backfield. 59 here does a great job of scraping underneath it. Taylor Wan doesn't give a great block here, and he's able to force the ball to cut back, making Derrick Henry slow down his feet where they're able to attack him in the backfield. Our second example of staying gap discipline is if you're using any type of stunts, blitzes, or slanting the defensive line. And here you're going to see an example of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to slant everybody. And the reason you slant is you're able to plug up the holes and Derrick Henry's not able to get a full head of steam. Think about it from a running back's perspective. If you see a person that's in a gap or in a hole, you're going to want to bounce it and go to the outside. If you bounce it, you're working laterally, meaning you're not working forward, you're not gaining yards. So this is what the Kansas City Chiefs do, especially inside of the red area here, where they're able to make Derrick Henry stop his feet and then rally down and tackle him for a short gain. And our last example of staying gap discipline is this play here coming out of the 25-yard line from the Tennessee Titans. And if you notice, Kansas City does a great job of just maintaining gaps, holding double teams to make sure they don't get blown off the football, and then attacking the football as fast as they possibly can. And here we're going to see a great job by the 3 technique on the left-hand side. That's the player that's lined up on the outside shoulder of the guard. He's going to eat a double team, still be able to hold his gap, and then cross face to make sure that Derrick Henry doesn't cut through that C gap. The linebackers then rally to it. Poor block on the back end, but the defensive end is able to track it down and make a tackle in the backfield. The bigger point here is the gap discipline. And when you stay gap discipline, if you notice, there's a wall of red right here. There's nowhere to actually run. There's no clear running lane for Derrick Henry to get going. The second thing you have to do to stop Derrick Henry is get off blocks. Now, it doesn't matter if you're gap disciplined. If you can't get off a block, it's completely useless. And we're going to see in this clip here, the interior defense lineman does a great job of getting off a block. He loses his gap. As you can see, he technically gets reached, meaning the defender takes him over and he's not able to get in his gap anymore. However, he's able to shed the block and make a tackle. Now, you don't need these big, devastating hits in order to stop Derrick Henry. All you need for him to do is slow down his feet. That way you can wrap him up below the waist and keep him secured in the backfield. And again, in this clip, we're going to see the defensive end come hot off the edge, and Derrick Henry's slowing his feet just enough, trying to find a hole. However, the entire team is gap disciplined. There's no holes to run through, and that way everyone else is able to rally down to the football, put them down in the backfield, and still live to play another down. Again, If you're playing Derrick Henry, you want to get in favorable situations. You want to get in 2nd and long and 3rd and long. That way, the Tennessee Titans have to throw the football. Ryan Tannehill had a great year this year. However, you do not want to have him throw the football in order to win the football game. You want to feed Derrick Henry the rock as much as possible. So again, getting in manageable situations for the defense is a large part in stopping Derrick Henry and forcing the quarterback to throw the football. So now we get him in a down and distance situation where it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long. We still have to account for Derrick Henry because he is a playmaker when he has the ball in his hands. Here they're going to try to run a screen to him. The safety does a great job of flying down through the alley to make sure that he can't catch the football and get positive yards here. So this plays in the realm of what we're talking about of getting off of blocks here. And he's able to get to Derrick Henry for a -6-yard play to force Tennessee to punt the football, ultimately getting off the field, which helped them win this football game. Neutralizing Derrick Henry, especially in the run game and in the pass game, is one of the biggest things that teams can do to slow this offense down. And our final way to stop Derrick Henry is tackle him low around his legs or his waist. Please do not tackle this man up high. As you can see here, he is 6'2". Let's call it 6'3", 247 pounds. This man is an absolute monster. As Earl Thomas learned the hard way, you do not try to tackle this man up high because he will bury you into the ground. He is too big up top. In order to tackle any running back, you have to wrap their legs securely and put them on the ground. It's their motor. It's what drives them to run the football. Here we're going to show a famous play that sadly put a potential Hall of Famer, Earl Thomas, on the map. Not as his great safety play that he's been for over the years with the Seattle Seahawks and even with the Baltimore Ravens, but the fact that he was turned into a lead blocker by Derrick Henry, all because he tried to tackle him up high. Now, denying the stiff arm, you have to chop the arm like that. But once you chop the arm, you have to wrap the waist or the legs. He chopped the arm and then tried to wrap him up high. And just to show you the complete breakdown of the 3 topics, especially all in this one play here, the Baltimore Ravens are running what we call a bare front. There's a guy in a 0 technique and then 2-3 techniques on the outside. Nobody here holds their gap. You're going to see the 3 technique get washed all the way down. That allows the cutback. Nobody's getting off blocks. And then ultimately what happens to Earl Thomas here, as mentioned, he should chop the arm like he does, but he just doesn't finish the play by trying to wrap the legs. And that's why he gets spun up by Derrick Henry, essentially facing the other way, running with Derrick Henry. And then that play is forever solidified as the Earl Thomas play, the Derrick Henry play, where he rips off 27 yards and then turns Earl Thomas into his lead blocker. So these are our 3 keys in order to stop Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter if you're in a video game or if you're watching this in real life. This is what we believe the 3 keys are to beat him, and this is what the Kansas City Chiefs demonstrated. What do you think is the best way to stop Derrick Henry? Or is there a way to stop Derrick Henry? Is he just too big and too powerful that the Kansas City Chiefs just got lucky? Let us know in the comment section below. And we'll see you guys next time.